Well, first of all, I'd like to say that I'm not feeling well. This has nothing to do with, well, mostly nothing to do with The Last Jedi, but it does have to do with it being winter where I live. And so I think maybe the flu's coming on. But an alarming series of videos has come up on YouTube that I'd like to share with you. Just the amount of people putting this out there. And this is the Rian Johnson Explains video. And I just want to go through and tell you about all the different YouTube videos that have Rian Johnson explaining something that people need explained in The Last Jedi. Sure is a lot of stuff. Okay, so first video, Rian Johnson explains Luke Skywalker and the end of Star Wars The Last Jedi. Next one, Rian Johnson explains Snoke's scenes in The Last Jedi. Next one, Rian Johnson explains Rey's parents in The Last Jedi. Next one, Rian Johnson explains why he killed Snoke off. Next one, Rian Johnson explains Rey and Kylo Ren's connection. Next one, Rian Johnson explains shirtless Kylo. Next one, Rey's weird cave scene explained by Rian Johnson. Next one, that Leia space scene explained by Rian Johnson. Next one, Yoda's force lightning scene explained by Rian Johnson. Next one, new Rey's parents explained by Rian Johnson. Next one, Rey and Kylo Ren's connection explained by Rian Johnson. Now, I know some of these are like repeat videos, but you're seeing a pattern here that people want to have things explained because they just don't get it. They don't get it. They don't understand it. Maybe there were things in the earlier Star Wars movie that had things that needed explained from the original series, but it was all pretty much straightforward. And then if they were going to explain something, it was just to kind of learn more about what had been established, not covering up a loophole, which is what seems to be going on here, where people don't understand something. What happened? Rian Johnson explained it to us. And back in the old days, like, oh, there's Yoda. I want to learn more about him. George Lucas explains Yoda. So yeah, I want to learn more. And on here, it's just like, duh, I don't get it, or whatever you want to say. I mean, I'm not the type of person that's not perceptive here, but some things have to be explained, and I'm glad Rian Johnson is explaining them. Rian Johnson explains Luke's arc in The Last Jedi. Next one, Rian Johnson explains Luke's first scene in The Last Jedi. Next one, Rian Johnson explains Kylo Ren and Snoke's relationships. Basically because people just didn't understand any of this stuff. You know? There was no reason or rhyme. It was all just like thrown onto the screen, like puked onto the screen. You know? I wish they would have hired Lawrence Kasdan to write this thing. It would have been a lot better. The next one, Kylo Ren's scar change. Rian Johnson explains. Well, here's an interesting one. It says Rian Johnson admits to being intimidated by Mark Hamill. Well, that's not good, because then he could be like, well, I'm intimidated by this man, so I'm going to screw him up in the writing process, and then we'll see who's the winner then. Great. And this one just says Star Wars director Rian Johnson explains and then it's cut off. The next one, Rian Johnson explains Force ghosts in Star Wars The Last Jedi. It's like we all knew nothing about Star Wars before. We had no idea what was going on. So he just puts up there whatever he wants and then comes back and explains it all afterwards. And, you know, shame on us. We just didn't know all this stuff. And why would you want to stick with what's already been established when you can just tear it down and make up your own stuff? It's not cool. That's not good, man. It's not good. And I'm not going to, get on board with all this extra crap. It's just, treating everybody, young and old, like ignorant fools that we don't know this stuff. We do know it. We've seen all the previous Star Wars movies. Why do you have to explain everything? Because you didn't write it well enough for us to understand it the first time. So you have to come back and explain it this time. What a waste of time.